everybody. Thanks for watching and subscribing. Here are 3 fun projects you can make with a minimum amount of material. First, we have phone holders. I wanted a fish, so I ended up making a trout and a bass. And they will hold an iPad or iPhone or any device, horizontally or vertically. Your call. A bowl, actually made from old cutting boards that I replaned, or you could use cutting board scrap. Stack them up and turn it, and you have the spiral hot plate. So you have the single or you have the double. Hopefully you enjoy watching the 3 projects and having fun making them. Alright, so we're going to go over the bowl. This is an 8-inch bowl made from 8.5 squares or billets. I stacked up 4 pieces of old cutting boards that I no longer needed. I just skimmed them with a planer, top and bottom, cut them into the billet size, glued them perpendicular with waterproof food safe glue, and then turned it on a mini lathe. It was a little much for the mini lathe, but it made it happen. Use a faceplate. I'll have to fill those in, cover them up. I put a beeswax mineral oil finish on it, and it turned out pretty good. It's a cool design with all the different stripes, different species of wood. Okay, put a little contour on the bottom there. I mean, you could cover that up with felt too if you didn't want to fill the holes. But there you go. If you don't have old cutting boards, well, you just use scraps laying around that you could make a cutting board with. Glue them up, plane them down so they're all even, and then stack them up however thick you want the bowl to be. And then go ahead and turn it. And that's what it looks like. Not too shabby for a cutting board effect. Again, went perpendicular with those. What you can do it however you want to. Alright, phone holders. So like I said, I wanted a fish, so I made a trout and a bass, drew them out, transferred them to the wood, used the bandsaw to cut them out. I used a sliding miter saw to cut the groove out. You do end up with some table saw curves in there, but it actually helps resonate the sound. You can smooth it out, sand it a little better to your liking. I also used the table saw. I tried that to see which one was better, and they're both pretty much the same. Your call, whichever tool you have or what machine you have. But there you go. 1.5 material. This is the walnut, this is the maple. You get a phone holder. Make any phone holder you want. You just got to draw it up, transfer it, and cut it out, and have fun doing it. Also wanted to show you, I did put a little bit of a finger groove or thumb groove in the holder for you to turn the power button on, or the push button, or the start, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, the home button. Simple things make a little bit of a difference. Instead of having to pull it out, turn it on, push it, you can get it from right there. So not that big of a deal, but a little extra spice to add to the ergonomics. All right, so here are the spiral hot plates made from an 8x8. This is 7/8 butternut. It's very soft wood, that's why I kept a little thicker. So it looks like this. I drew this and then traced it on. Used a scroll saw with a very fine, thin blade. And when you're done, they'll look like that. And you can use that as a single hot plate or a double hot plate. You can use any wood you want. I had some butternut and some other fancier woods available. Give a little cool effect. If you want to challenge yourself, go with that. And you want more of a challenge, you can do the double color. So in order to do this, okay, you need to take your piece of walnut, in this case, and piece of maple. Make 2 at the same time. Like over here. So I actually use cherry and walnut. Take your 2 pieces. I double-sided taped them down and then screwed them in, because as you cut the outside arc, you know, the screws aren't going to do any good. But the double-sided tape will help you hold these pieces together as you cut it. Okay? And then you take your top one, take your bottom one, and then you just separate them. And if you did a nice enough job, they'll go right into themselves. Now you can sand these a little bit. but you do have to be careful. If you sand them too much, you'll have too much of a gap in between them. They'll be too loose. Okay, but it is what it is. So you want to lightly sand. That's why a better, finer saw blade, which takes longer, but will give you a smaller curve. Now when you cut these, you have to start obviously from the outside, trim it off, and then you go around and around and around and around to the center point, and then you have to go the opposite way the whole way out. It's best to do this in one motion, one single cut. If you do have to stop, or your blade does break, because it is a really fine small blade, it is what it is. It happens. Just try to keep it as still as possible. You might have an extra kerf in there that you'll have to sand out, but in the end, they'll still turn out. So there you go. You could do the single hot plate with a single piece of wood. Okay, these all need sand a little bit more before I put a finish on them. I'll use probably just a straight mineral oil. You can use whatever finish you want. If you would use the beeswax mineral oil mix, which I do like, I think the beeswax have a tendency to warm up, you know, with the hot plate being on it, and you may not want that. They are pretty cool, great gifts. Be careful, you know, they do flex a little bit, and do have, you know, that tendency to break if you would drop it. Almost like anything, you drop it, it may break. This is what you sort of want. You want them to stick. Again, if you do get a kerf a little too big, they may not be as tight to go together, but a little bit of sanding, you know, loosen them up so you can hold it as one. But if they do, you know, no big deal. So there you go. Spiral hot plates. All right, so there's 3 fun, cool projects you can do with a minimal amount of material. Hope you enjoyed them. Hope you'll try them out. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And if any interests of purchase or anything, just let me know. And we'll go from there. See what we can do.